7 Eastern, we got the Sixers and Celtics. Well, good for Boston. They lead 1-0 in the series after a 32-point win Sunday. Largest win in a playoff opener in the franchise's history. For Philly, Joel Embiid's health remaining the biggest question in that series after that appendectomy in Houston. Then at 8, it's the Trailblazers and Spurs. They tip things off. Victor Wembanyama put on a show in his playoff debut, becoming the first player in playoff history to debut with 35 points and 5 triples made. And then in the nightcap, it's the Rockets. Will try to even up the series against the Lakers. Kevin Durant will be a game-time decision after missing Game 1 with a right knee contusion at 37 years young. Let's talk about it. Perk, back on the program, and let's start, Perk, right there with the Rockets and the Lakers. Houston failing to reach 100 points in Game 1. How do they generate more offense in Game 2 tonight, especially if they don't have KD for another game?
Well, one, they got to hang their hats on the defensive side and get back to their identity and getting stops. But number 2, they got to go run their offense through Alfred Sengun and hope that they can make shots Alfred Sengun is one of the most promising bigs that we have in the game for its upside, and they got to continue to feed him. But overall, they got to get it done collectively. From Tari Eason, getting stops, getting out in transition and running. Their defense got to transition to their offense and easy buckets. That's the only way that they're going to have a shot to win in this game without Kevin Durant.
Speaking of promising bigs in the Western Conference, I think Victor Wembanyama checks that box as well. An impressive playoff debut. This his 3rd season, 35 points in Game 1. That is the most by a Spurs player in their playoff debut, previously held by Tim Duncan. What impressed you most about Wemby's performance in Game 1, Perk?
Well, the thing that has impressed me the most, not just in Game 1, but throughout the course of this season, is his growth. Being a big man and with guard skills, he has now embraced actually being a big man and being dominant. We saw in Game 1 that he was attacking the paint at first, finding ways to get to the basket, and then all of a sudden it opened up things for him on the outside, and that's the Wemby that you love, right? You want him to find that balance of inside out offensively. We know what kind of player he is defensively. That's why he got the Defensive Player of the Year award. But offensively, if he's going to dominate that in that fashion and have that balance, then it's going to be hell in hot water, not only in this series, but for the rest of the playoffs for everybody that he faces. And
it's interesting. I think you mentioned it and Wendy mentioned it. It wasn't even like a standard Wemby game because he had 35 points, but only in his standards, 5 boards and 1 assist. He normally averages nearly 12 boards a game. All right, to a player that's not in the playoffs this season, Perk, that would be Giannis. He posted this last night. Let's read between the lines. Year 13, this has been one of the toughest seasons of my career, but as they say, like a phoenix from the ashes, pregnant pause on purpose there, I'll rise to the city of Milwaukee, my city. Thank you for the unwavering love and support. Feels like a goodbye. I don't know, Perk. What do you make of what Giannis hit the internet with last night?
At this point, I don't even care. Like I'm over the top. No, seriously, I'm over the top with Giannis and the whole Milwaukee situation, man. I mean, like that whole situation is dysfunctional. It's confusing. Giannis don't really know if he's going or coming. At this point, if he stays in Milwaukee, good for him. If he don't, good for him. I don't even give a damn.
That reminds me of that meme that's like, congratulations, or I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm not reading all that. I'm not giving that any more attention. You're going to do what you're going to do, and either congratulations or I'm sorry that happened. Ken did too. We also had a Big Apple crumble. At MSG, sort of your usual suspects. This was a villain role generally acquired by one Trae Young, but he was traded to Washington for that guy, CJ McCollum, who stepped in and filled the role nicely. Game 2 of this series, Jalen Brunson hits the triple. Knicks up 6. They're up 1-0 in this series, but CJ McCollum, the 34-year-old wonder, wing triple, got it. Hawks down 57-54. They trailed the entirety of this game until we got to the 4th. Mikal Bridges, 61-54, hits the floater at the buzzer. Going to have another opportunity at the buzzer later in this game. That's foreshadowing. Jose Alvarado to El Cato Grande, 86-77. And then Big Cat, three-point champ. 3 of his 18 points. Knicks go up 89-77. It's a double-digit lead for New York. They were up 14 at one point in this game. CJ McCollum gets the handoff, gets chippy with Jose Alvarado, who had 9 minutes off the bench, 0 points, but two chippy little lips. Knicks led by 12 going into the fourth. They're 64-1 all time when going into the fourth quarter of a playoff game up double digits. We're going to have to rewrite that history. Knicks up 8. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, triple. Got it. Hawks down 100-97. Big block. On the other end, Jalen Johnson. It's 100-99. A couple plays later, same score. C.J. McCollum going to cross JB. For the 34-year-old, the Hawks take a 101-100 lead. Not just their first lead of the game, their first lead of the series. CJ wasn't done. Said afterward, we got to play until the clock hits 0. Hawks go up 3, 103-100. But JB, triple, got it, tied, yes. 40 seconds to go. Same score in the game. McCollum falling away. This time he has it. 32 points. He has 30-point performances for 3 different franchises in the playoffs.
That's it?
Portland, the Pels, and the Hawks. He's a man of flight. He's a bird. Jalen Johnson off the turnover, 107-103. 10 seconds to go, though. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks chipping back. That's a home rattle. Despite the Knicks only scoring 15 points in the fourth quarter, that's the least amount of points they've scored in the fourth quarter in the regular season or playoffs this year. McCollum gets fouled. He is going to the line. Just cash them. That's all you got to do. Just hit your free throws. They're free. He misses them both. Mikal Bridges, I told you he's going to have another opportunity at the buzzer. No.
Oh, no.
Off the front lip of the cup, and that is how the Hawks come back down double digits to even the series that now shifts to Atlanta, 1 game apiece.
You heard us, now you see us. Gary Streisky, Christine Alexander, NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins joining us now. Perk, what was the biggest reason for the Knicks' collapse?
Well, number one, they don't play any defense. And it starts with the head of the snake and big body Brunson, but he got to be better, a whole lot better. When you talk about being a legit title contender and leading the team to trying to get to the promised land, you got to be able to slide those feet, and he's not doing it. They're searching them out, and especially C.J. McCollum, and they're getting the isolation and one-on-one matchup against him. But also, the Knicks don't do a great job of doing the little things. They're not going for the 50-50 balls. They're not getting back in transitions. They don't have a no layup rule. You look at teams like OKC and the Boston Celtics, you could tell what a championship, you could see what a championship level defense looked like. And then when you look at the Knicks, you just don't see the same.
No layup rule. I remember a Knicks team that made you think twice before you entered the painted area. They were certainly going to do something mentally or physically. Let's give the Hawks, though, Perk, a lot of love right here as well. Going into a hostile territory that is Madison Square Garden, what was the key on Atlanta's end to even the series?
Well, I mean, it's a few things. I mean, you look at it, obviously C.J. McCollum, a veteran that could get a bucket, one of the best mid-range bucket getters that we've seen, but also Jonathan Kuminga, bringing that championship pedigree from Golden State and getting it done off the bench. His energy was contagious. When they needed a spark, he came in and did what he needed to do. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, bringing his playoff experience and his offensive presence. And all of a sudden, you saw a Hawks team, as the game kept going, they started to continue to develop confidence. And they just kept hanging around until it was one play after another, and all of a sudden, you saw them come out victorious.
Now they take an even series, Game 3, Thursday night, back on their home court in Atlanta. That's the Eastern Conference goings on. Perk, stand by. We got some Western Conference things happening.
Yes, we do. Let's take it to what we saw between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Game 2. Nikola Jokic, as always, ready for this one. Final seconds of the half, though. Jamal Murray heaves it from beyond half court, and it is good. You would think a moment like this was enough to take you through the rest of the game because it tied it up 64 at the half. However, the Nuggets were down by 2. Nikola Jokic said, I don't like that. Let's get up on this one again. Drains the 3. Nuggets take a momentary lead. Still here with Jokic. 16 points in the third quarter for him. They were up by 3 after 3. On to the fourth we go. Under 5 minutes left to go. Jokic can't get the layup to go. Minnesota now in transition. Dante DiVincenzo finds a wide open Jaden McDaniels for the dunk. So Minnesota was starting to feel good too, huh? Jokic, though, tries it again with the miss. DiVincenzo again comes up with the loose ball, streaks away for the layup. The T-Wolves up by 3. off the Anthony Edwards miss. Rudy Gobert grabs the offensive rebound, throws it down on Jokic. And Jokic would take note of that with a permanent marker. It would stick in his mind, drives and returns the favor as he throws it down on Gobert. Getting him right back. Nuggets down only by 2. Murray, though, misses the step-back jumper. DiVincenzo gets the rebound, finds Julius Randle, gives it back to DiVincenzo, who is having quite the night. With the dagger slam, Alex Rodriguez and Randle are fired up. T-Wolves go on to win 119-114. So the series is tied up, but Rudy Gobert got the best of Nikola Jokic in Game 2, holding him to 1 for 8 shooting as the primary defender, including 1 for 7 from the field in the fourth quarter. 7 of the 8 shots against Gobert were contested, and Gobert did not finish in the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year. And let's just say he used it as motivation.
3 or 4 times in the clutch when Jokic was trying to go one-on-one with you and wasn't successful. What were you seeing in that? How were you able to?
I was lucky because I'm not a top 3 defender. I cannot do that, so I was lucky.
What were some of the keys offensively as to really getting a rhythm?
Go out for Jokic, Jamal, all the bad defenders, Tim Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, the whole team. Like, just go at them.
They're all bad defenders.
Yeah, they're all bad defenders.
Yeah.
Interesting. Perk, you make that of what? What did last night's game mean for this series, and what did that post-game locker room sound mean for what's going forward?
Well, look, from that soundbite from Jay McDaniels let you know that it's real smoke and it's beef, and they ready to make hamburgers. This is a real rivalry, right? They didn't have enough battles throughout the course of the years in the postseason. We could call this a legit rivalry, and he's absolutely right. And we saw last night the effect of the Timberwolves being able to put Murray and Jokic in action and make them guard. And that's what ended up happening. All of a sudden, you didn't see they didn't have their legs last night offensively at the end of the game. We saw Jokic airball a 3-point shot. We saw Rudy doing a hell of a job in making sure he stayed out of foul trouble, but steady played some hell of a defense on Jokic. And again, when you think about the Timberwolves, they were down 19 at one point. They just kept chipping away. And if you're the Nuggets, you got to figure something out. You got to find more rest for Murray and Jokic, or find another option offensively to get those guys some help, whether it's, Aaron Gordon or whatever the case may be. If not, this series is going to be over, and Minnesota is going to be heading to the crib with it.
It's now, at this point, going to Minnesota. And you're talking about Jokic and Murray. They had 50 combined points through quarters 1 through 3. Then the fourth quarter happened. They combined for 4 points, and now the Timberwolves have an even series, taking it back to their home court.